Hello there, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome. So, there has been a new update. I can't seem to find the information regarding the update here, which is quite intriguing actually. It might be available somewhere, but I just can't seem to find it at this moment in time. I'm probably looking in the wrong location. Now, we actually do have a Summer 1863 campaign added here, which is actually really pretty awesome in the new updates. And so it's definitely added some really intriguing stuff. But I don't have a clear idea what has been changed. And the only issue here is, well, I don't have an option to continue the campaign, so we are going to have to choose to either start 1861, 1862, 1863, and we're going to have to choose one of these here, really, which is going to be quite fun. How you doing there, Doom? Good to have you, my man. So it's a bit of a shame. It would have been nice to continue the campaign, but then again, beta is beta. I was looking forward to actually fighting the Battle of Manassas. I was looking forward to actually doing that and actually learning from the mistakes I made. I was grouchy last time, and I've learned from that. People have been really quite helpful with their suggestions and obviously the history. I've been actually enjoying the reading I've been doing actually. The Civil War book I'm reading at the moment. Let me get the name once again. But it's actually been quite fascinating. It's really intriguing to see the descriptions of Lincoln by press and just individuals really. It's quite like he's described almost like Bigfoot in a way, almost like an orangutan in a way, which is really quite amusing. Yes, I'm reading the Civil War volume, One Fort Sumter to Perryville, I think it is. Who is the author? But I've just got to start now where we are seeing Johnston, and I can't recall who he fight. It might be McClellan. I can't recall who it was at this moment in time. But I'm just up to the part where it's gone past the fighting over here for Harper's Ferry being taken and then being retaken, and then the fights between Johnston. And then I'm just up to the part now where I think we might have the first Battle of Manassas. But we do have Beauregard, and Johnston, who does manage to actually arrive in time to reinforce. And then we do have McClellan, who is delayed on the march. I think I've got the names right there. I'm trying to find the name of the book. I had it recommended and I'm actually enjoying it quite a lot so far. Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing it go live. I'm looking forward to having other people been able to play the game. Looking forward to hearing different opinions there, really. Let's see. I imagine people are like, oh, shut the hell up and just play the game. The author is Shelby Foote. So, I've been enjoying that one, actually. Really good recommendation. How you doing there, Mike? Marsh Witch, I like that name. That's cool. How you doing there, Helen? Confederate and take focus to get Cuban and Mexican. Yeah, I think what we'll do then is we'll try 1861. We do have an idea of how the game actually works now. I'm not entirely sure if 1861 is entirely balanced, but I think we should take a look at it from the start. And then at least we can take a look at the differences that we can actually consider here. I do have the ability to do this now. Maybe I just didn't... Yeah, I must have been doing it wrong beforehand. Yeah, I must have been doing it wrong. The game looks promising, but the price is tough for me. Well, this is it. Oh, are you from Australia there, Mike? I mean, if you're Australian, I can imagine it's price gouging at its best out that way. So let's see here, then. I do have some options that we're going to take a look at. So encourage pro-slavery pioneers to settle in Arizona and New Mexico territories. Some supporters increase considerably, and recruitment in New Mexico is allowed, which is intriguing then. You know what is really intriguing is like the Old Dominion, like Virginia is so important, it's incredible really. But I do wonder, and I think my strategy here would be to try and make the Union declare the war first. That would be rather intriguing. So, Apostles of Disunion, official support to the pro-slavery fire eaters will greatly increase Southern support in all slave states, but will also increase Northern support in all free states. I mean, that one is given, but that one could be really quite intriguing, actually. Increase the support in all slave states. I do wonder if this actually includes, like, states that obviously didn't secede, but obviously states such as, like, Maryland would be rather intriguing, and I think Delaware, I think it was. That could be interesting. And we do have here, provide support to Southern incursions into Latin America, Southern military experiences increase. Nicaragua and Cuba will be under Southern control, increase in trade, and allow recruitment. And that's actually really quite intriguing now. The Southern Pacific will be interesting. And I do find the historical setup really quite... It's good. I would enjoy either or there, really. Yeah, they did on the last 61 campaign, which was a bit of a strange one. But maybe we'll go ahead and replay the 1862, because I can still choose some of these options here. But it's kind of strange, in my opinion, 1862, because, well, I don't know. The effects that these changes would have had would have been quite interesting, but I like the fact that you do have the option here. Hmm. It is interesting. It's hard to decide. I think what I will do here then is continue... I'm going to go with the historic here. I think what we'll do then is we'll go back with the 1862 campaign, because we aren't yet done with that. We do have an idea of what to do. And then what we can do then is in the future, if people do feel that they would like to see an 1861 campaign, or even an 1863 campaign, they can go ahead and comment down below, and we can go for that. But I think, yeah, I think this is it. Union Advantage. I think this is probably the most fleshed out campaign, I suppose you could say. Without taking a look at the 1863 campaign. This is it. I do want to do the 1861 campaign. I'm looking forward to being able to play the 1861. I'm just not entirely sure if it's balanced as much as the 1862. But I do hold out hope. I do hold out that hope. But I think what we'll do then is we're going to continue to learn how to play the game. There is a manual available. I haven't had yet the time to actually read through the manual as of yet. I've had a quick look. Yeah, I want to get a feel for the game. We're getting there now. Okay. Right, recruitment from Indian territories is possible. Now we do need to figure out how we can actually make use of the native allies. Do let me know if the music is too loud, by the way. I can obviously reduce that. I might reduce it when we do begin, actually. Yeah, I mean, regarding the Old Dominion, like, Virginia is so important, actually. That's just... it's just so important. But it does make me wonder if it would be more useful, perhaps, then, for really trying to garner support from European powers, and even support from other states there, really. Because if we don't begin with Virginia... I imagine they're going to be heavily inclined towards the Confederacy. So we could actually try and maneuver the Union into firing first, potentially raise in forces first. That'd be intriguing to see how the support could increase across the other states as well as Virginia, of course. It'd be intriguing. It would be very intriguing. Okay. But yeah, we're going to continue with the 1862. We didn't have that much done in the... prior videos, so it's not too bad, really. I would love to watch that again, but I'm going to have to skip it. I'm hoping that we might see some improvements to game performance here, actually. That'd be pretty cool. Let's see. It looked like I was going to buy a little bit quicker there. It's nice to be able to play the game as it is developing. I'm looking forward to seeing it in its final form. I mean, you can imagine like a year from now, maybe 2 years from now, how the game will look. But right, okay, so we're somewhat familiar with the start here, which is good to know. So what I'm going to do then is take a look and really, we could go for the order of battle reorganization to begin with, which might be a good way to go. So we do have a number of armies, we do roughly know what we wish to do with them. We're going to try to be quite aggressive from the outset to try to make the best of what we do have, because every day does matter, so we need to make use of that. If anybody has any suggestions, do let me know. So we take a look over here, we have the Army of the West. Now, the Army of the West, it might actually be simply better to... yeah, we do have Pike's Indian Brigade here, so these are considered... Yes, these are Indian Territory men. Supporters 47 volunteers. I would be really rather intrigued to see how we gain additional Indian forces. So I could go ahead and click here, New Unit. That also seems to go... resolve itself a little bit quicker than it used to do, actually, which is interesting. Right, let's see. Men fielded, casualties, deserters, recruits, volunteers. Okay, volunteers and drafts. Right. I do wonder if you actually, it might be that perhaps there is, like, Indian... I don't know, it's interesting. It is interesting. We have Arkansas, which is close by to Indian Territory. So let's take a look at Arkansas, then. If it doesn't come up with, like, Indians here, then I'm not entirely sure. I'm going to have to read in the manual how to recruit them. It's not looking like that. I do have draft, I do have volunteers. Yeah, there must be some sort of mechanic. It might be that potentially we receive units from the Indian territories here and there. I'm not too sure, but there must be some way to encourage it, or to have more of them available, surely. One would imagine, anyway. Okay. I wish that would be permanently off. Let's go with that. Right, okay. So we have the Army of the West. We do have here the divisions. We could do with a corps, to be honest. That could be fairly useful. The reason why is by having a corps, I believe that we can actually have the army command remain behind. The corps would actually be in charge of the divisions in the field. Should actually allow us to operate to a greater degree of flexibility. Well, hold on to a greater degree of flexibility. Okay, so it's created a new division then, so it doesn't look as if I do have a capability to have a corps out here. I might simply pressed it wrong, but I'm not too sure. What do you guys reckon then? Should we have a division? Should we have like an actual separate command for artillery? I do wonder. I've been thinking about that. Do we copy the essentially Napoleonic system of having said artillery massed? And it does make me wonder. It is useful for each of these brigades over here to have cavalry. To have cannon. So it's an interesting one. I think it's worthwhile for each brigade, each division to have artillery support, but I think we need to get to a point at which we do have like a sort of set standard army, and then once we have that planned out, we can deviate from that and potentially increase the amount of artillery we have in the army, and have it actually organized into a separate branch almost. Now, I think what we might do here then, so we have McIntosh's brigade here. Right. Well, if it's all grouped together, then sometimes that's all not arrive at some battles. Well, that's it, isn't it, really? What I'm going to do, then, is I think I will have the cavalry separate. I don't want to have them under that command there. I think they're independent. Right, transfer unit. So it becomes a subordinate of the army. Okay, so I think that is considered an independent unit then. It should ideally perform independent actions, which should be really quite useful for us then. So I'm going to have this brigade placed in here. Just because I'd like to have things organized, I'm going to have the artillery. Okay, I'm going to have to take you out for the time being and then put you back in there. Just for the sake of I want things to look proper. But we're going to use the army of the West. We're going to use it quite aggressively to begin with. We must be aggressive in that function. Now, the chains over there actually indicate that they would follow this unit. Oh, combine! Right, okay. In battle, I think you see that icon, and it actually does have them follow that unit. So what's useful about that is you can actually issue an order to the lead unit, and the rest will follow. So that's something we're going to have to take advantage of and use there. Obviously, orders that are bad are probably going to be bad across multiple units, but it's a very interesting thing that we could actually have available to us. Right, now, and it does actually come into mind, is it worthwhile to potentially have some of these forces remain independent rather than under divisional command? Because they do come in potentially handy. But it might be that we have another division here as a reserve. Now, if I take a look over here, so we have 6,000 men, we have 6,700, we have 2,250 men. There's not that many men in here. How many men are here? 630, 495. And these are smaller brigades, frankly. They do have some men disabled here. What I might be better off doing then is actually just increase... You should look at that one. That's 2,500 men there. That's 2,500 men. 620. There's quite some difference in the numbers. What I'm going to do then is place you under the 2nd Division here. So that brings us to 6,000. That brings us to 6,390. This one is going to be weakened. We do have in here... How many men are in here? My god, they're actually quite large. That's actually very large. Is that 2,200 men in... is it? I might just misreading that, because that's very large if it is in fact that many men. Yeah, strength 2,200... well, 2250 there. That is actually a hell of a large force there. Wow. Okay. I actually thought they were much smaller than that, but that's fine. That's cool to work with. See, this is going to be slick. It's going to be more effective. We know what we're doing here. We have a good idea of what we want to see done. So we'll be able to get through the game here and be able to be more effective, which is nice. I really appreciated the actual support that I've had from you guys. It's been incredible, actually. It's been really, really impressive. But the actual support has been just superb in terms of comments of just how to play and ideas. Obviously, regarding the history of the American Civil War has been really, really awesome. So what I'm going to do here then is take Frost Brigade. I'm going to have them merged in here if I can. It looks like I can't merge them in here now because they're still reorganizing. So what I'm going to do then is, let's see. And that would make about 1,000 men there. These units here of a few hundred just... And that's 2250. That's equivalent to this cavalry brigade here. That's not a lot of men. It may very well be that we have that as the actual reserve there, perhaps. But I think what we might want to do then, so... I'd like to aim for at least 1,000 men per brigade. But I'm not too sure. Wasn't a Union regiment about 1,200 men? I mean, this is it. My reading's still very early, so do be gentle. Likely going to get things wrong there. Okay. I think what I'm going to do then is... These men will treat like a reserve. They will be useful to actually hold crossings. Right. 630, 495 there. So I'm going to have you combined with that brigade there. So that becomes 12, 15. So 1,000. Yeah, and then what I can do here then is take this brigade, combine them. Right, there we go. And now we have the Mississippi rifle in here, which is interesting. And we are going to have to look into the actual armament that we do have here and really consider what we want to do with it. So I do have the mixed muskets over here. I mean, they're very poor in terms of accuracy. They're not exactly impressive. See, what I'd love to know then is how many rifles we actually have in stock. So I do have technology available here for the Springfield rifle musket. It's got 400 yard range, 750k though, that is a problem. The issue is I don't know how many of these I would actually produce, which is intriguing. So I don't know, but the earlier we start to produce these guns, possibly the better, as that increases the amount of standardization that we have. I think it would be ideal if we actually did reach a point of standardization across the brigades where we did actually have something of a capable weapon to actually use across the board. Mixed muskets are... They've got 2.5 rounds per minute. They weigh 8 pounds, which is interesting. These... I don't know how much they weigh, which is an interesting omission here. I'd like to have that information. But we can see that we have 3 rounds a minute. Effective range is 400 yards, whilst their effective range there looks to be at 250. Accuracy's poor here. I don't get accuracy here. And what do you guys reckon then? Do we hold off and actually produce instead muskets? I think we'll take a look at it later on. But that's certainly something we're going to have to take a look into really doing. But I'm quite happy there with the changes we've made to the Army of the West. I don't think it's that much more I could do there. I can't create a corps, which is a bit of a shame. Right, so we've reorganized the Army of the West. We have the Army of the Mississippi here. So we have 2nd Corps, and we have 1st Corps. We do have the 3rd Corps. We have the Reserve Corps here. Which is still 5,800 men, 6,300 men here. That's not a lot of men in a corps. 12,000 here. So 2nd Corps is by far the largest there, led by Braxton Bragg. We do have Leonidas here with the 1st Corps. I mean, this is it. It's one of these of, would it not be better potentially to combine perhaps the Reserve Corps and the 3rd Corps? Actually have the Reserve into the 3rd. It's an interesting option there. We're going to reorganize the Army of the Mississippi shortly, and then we have the Army of East Tennessee. This one's an interesting one, and it's certainly an interesting one. And I'm not entirely sure, supposedly a few people have noted that this particular army only had, well, essentially was organized like that. I don't know if it ever had a corps, and that seems to be the sort of understanding I have gained from those comments. But it was essentially like a large division. Okay. Hey, didn't that Grim? We've only just started here, so don't worry about that. The game had been updated, so we no longer have our former campaign. So what we're doing now is we're going to go in hard. We're in 1862. Performance does seem to be better, actually, which is good. So we're making the changes that we know that we need to make. We're making the changes that we know might actually see us achieve a victory. Right, so I do have 3rd Corps over here. Did we always have 3rd Corps over here? Or is that new? So I feel like I didn't have a unit over here. Okay, either way. So I have 1st Corps here. We did see success when we did move a corps, at least a force over here to the north, and it did actually bring the Army of the Ohio out of their position. We do have the Army of the East Tennessee over here, and as far as I'm aware, I've not touched the actual organization there, so we should be able to manage it. They're unhappy with Edmund Kirby Smith. And it does make me wonder, actually, it might be potentially worthwhile to reassign another commander here, another Major General, to actually remove the unhappy aspect. Yeah, I do need to try to remove men deserting, but then again, I'd imagine they would be happy with their commander if we do achieve a victory. So we have 7,000 men here. Army of East Tennessee then is 11,000 men, 18 gun. We do have here then 15 gun. We should in theory be able to defeat the 7th Division. Well, the Army of East Tennessee is built like an early war army for the South. Yeah, there we go. I was trying to figure out how to actually say that earlier, because I've had a few comments actually say that, suggest that. I just couldn't think of the way to phrase it. Right, so we do have Branch's division over here then. So that's 2,700 men, just shy of 3,000 men, as we do have some men disabled. We did see previously that we had been invaded. The Union had landed men previously, so we do need to bear that in mind as an actual threat. Now, I do have a Department of Virginia here. So that's 4,500 men. We do have a Fort Monroe garrison over here. Now, Fort Monroe is really... We do need to take it. It must be taken. I had it pointed out to me as well that regarding the Army of Virginia, I had actually fought with 61,000 men in total in this army. No, in fact, it's 32,000, but 61,863 men are the numbers in all the corps, everything assigned to the Army of Virginia, essentially. As the army at the first Bull Run was brigade straight to army, no corps or divisions, right, good to know. The performance does seem better, actually. Certainly seems better. I've got a little bit of a sniffle again. Always fun. I think what I'm going to do then is take off the state lines. It is useful, map borders, but it does make it a little bit difficult over here to see that. But I might just leave it on, actually, for the time being. It is actually pretty damn good. Yeah, I'm sure you can. I mean, this is it. It's nice to have an update. I'm looking forward to actually getting access to the soundtrack. I'm going to actually pay for that as a way to support the developers, which is nice. So we do have Jackson's Call over here, then. Yeah, come faster tomorrow, indeed. Brian Harper's very civilly important. I like the fact that we actually do have the ability to upgrade here. I've not seen that previously before. That's intriguing. Can't upgrade that. We do have available workforce slaves. Okay, I think we are starting to see more information here. Or perhaps I'd just not actually been able to, I just hadn't taken a look at it beforehand, perhaps. I'm not too sure. As we have Cumberland over here, we do have our telegraph. Telegraphs are really, really important, because they actually increase the speed at which orders are relayed. So I think in a lot of ways, potentially over... It depends obviously on the cost of constructing telegraph lines, but I think telegraph lines might actually come before we produce more men as such, if there is a cost. But we'll have to take a look over here. So if I look, construction. So I can have a telegraph here. And telegraph stations within reach of one another will allow communication from the administration to the armies, reducing order delays immensely. Telegraph stations can also be captured. Yeah, that is also the problem there, that they can be captured. So I could have that positioned here. I don't know what it's... Oh, I can see its range. Oh, that's nice. Can I? No. Yes, I can, yes. Ah. Nice. It's a little bit slow, but if I go here, it must be that you... Right, so it can only be built within this sort of range then. Yeah, now it comes over. So it's a little bit slow, but it's useful enough then. Right, so we do have a fair range there with telegraph lines, so that's useful. So I need to figure out where my telegraph lines are then, because they are going to be extraordinarily useful for us. So we do have Richmond. It looks like it has gained a star here to actually represent the capital, which is interesting. I don't know if that was there beforehand. I do have the Fort Darling garrison. Yeah, what I'm noticing here then is no telegraph lines, as far as I can tell. And they will be very useful. As I think as far as it goes, the telegraph lines aren't terribly expensive. Do I get a range from a telegraph line over here? Telegraph station, I should say. It would be nice to see that range there. It'd be nice if you can actually go... Oh, I can. Let's see. Ah, there we go. Yeah, that's exactly what I wanted there. So telegraph lines then shows all telegraph connections to your units. Right, so if I click that, does it show me the telegraph line connections? I don't think it... Right, if I turn that off... Right, okay. Now that looks to be showing the Union telegraph lines there. Yeah, well, that's it. This is why I'm thinking, rather than producing anything else, I think the immediate concern is actually going to be telegraph lines. You can imagine if we did have a a chain of them across the nation, obviously it would allow for pretty damn quick communications. So that is something that we are going to have set up then in this area in Virginia, and I think in the West as well. Okay. So I'm going to have the Army of Virginia establish that. They could be captured, but the thing is the Union would no doubt build them anyway, so I'm going to have that built there. I do have a telegraph station over here already. It is under the control of the Confederacy, so if we have that and have that one, I think what I'll do then is have another telegraph station built here by the by Hill's Corps. Construction. Right, yeah, see, this is it. I don't know what the construction cost of this is, but I imagine it's worthwhile having. I don't know if they do cost us, so we'll find out soon enough. But if I can have telegraph lines laid in the area, I think that's worthwhile. So I can lay one about there then. Looks like they have a depot there. Right, we'll have one place there then. Yeah, well that's it, isn't it? It's one of these of, they are just supremely useful, so I guess why not? So if I take a look over here then, so I do have the Army of East Tennessee here. Now, if I take a look then, construction, telegraph line, now it's blue. I mean, I don't mind that it's blue, it's interesting that it's blue. But you can see the distance there is actually pretty impressive that they can cover. Game performance does seem to be better as of late, actually. Can't seem to build it. Let's try again. Right, doesn't seem to be room to build one here. What is your problem? How much do they cost? That's what I want to know there. So I'm a little bit worried. If they do cost, then we might regret that. So we were able to build them before. I don't see anything for cost, but we'll see over here then. We should be able to find out whether or not that is true over here then. Maybe it is indeed a cost element. I'm not seeing it on the UI. Unless somebody knows anything about that, maybe it is cost then, but I've not seen anything. It could be that there is a cost. Well, we'll hold off then with those for the time being. Still useful for us. So what I'm going to go ahead here and do then... Yeah. Has it actually been affecting... Well, we'll probably see when we do start the game, then I'd imagine. What I'm going to do then is have finances automatically managed to begin with, and then we'll take a look. Now, we do have our policies over here, so we do have some that are actually used already. Now, previously we had talked about the different ideas of what to do. We do have Conscription Act over here, but I don't think that's potentially worthwhile. I do have the recruitment bounties, which would help us here. So... provides government funding to the states and formal recruitment bounties to be offered to the volunteers. The bounties will attract more volunteers to join the ranks, recruitment costs will increase, at the same time the morale of veterans will suffer and desertion will increase, which is a bit of a problem there. There's no real win either way on that one. Surely it's useful, but this is it. So we could potentially take this another way. We could potentially go King Cotton, and that increases the actual output of the industry, agriculture, sorry. Increases relations with the European powers. But I think as before, what I'm going to do then is go with the industry. I do want to gain access to the army of civilian ships. I think that is useful, because if we can actually win the brown water, i.e. the rivers, I think we have a chance of potentially controlling the lifeline through the Confederacy, essentially, and just ideally providing that they bring anything too terribly strong against us, such as like actual ironclads. We should be alright. So we'll take it from there then. Okay. Yeah, it's about getting more brigades where it hurts your event. Yeah, well that's it, isn't it, really? But then, hey, who knows? That might actually be what we want to have done there. It may very well be. Now, I'd be very intrigued in actually getting the rail lines built out here. I'm not entirely sure how much they cost, but I'm going to start the process, and I think hope for the best. I mean, it doesn't seem to be a course. I can't see a course listed. So I'm just going to have to hope it works there. Oh, so we do have a garrison over here, which is Union, which is intriguing, man. And this is now Union. Whereas beforehand, this wasn't Union. That's intriguing, man. Free the slaves, rejoin the Union. Yeah, take them out from the inside. I like that. This is medieval. I like that name. Suitably medieval. Actually, no, I must have been looking... Yeah, no, never mind. We did have it... Yeah, it's as it was, but it looks like, yes, there are the Indian tribes over here. And imagine if we were to take this area over here with the Indian territories. The Indian tribes over here, Muskogee. Blocked by 10%. Right. Yeah, they're useful. We will need them. So if we could actually try and push the Union back out here in the west, we could take control of these tribes over here then. Or at least have these tribes potentially work with us. Are these all Union? Or will they flip to our control later? I'm not too sure. But there's a lot that can be useful there. So that's something to bear in mind. Right, so we're going to get another rail line. I can't believe I'm 30 minutes in here, but it's worthwhile. I'm hoping that we can come here out of the gates fighting and really, really make a good go of it, really. Yeah, cavalry's just so goddamn great out there. I think that's about what we need to do here. Performance does seem to be better, actually, which is quite nice. Let's get the music going again if we can. I'm going to go ahead and just turn the music down just slightly. Every time the game updates, it does actually change the volume of the music. Yeah, I'm going to get used to the audio delays. I'm not going to expect anything crazy. I know what to expect now, so we'll be good. Right, but the last thing we're going to do here, then, is regards to the Navy. I want to reinforce the Squadron. You'll see in a sec. What was the name of it? It's not the James River one, it's not the New Orleans one, but I will be taking ships from there, likely. It's the Mississippi River Squadron, that's the one I want to increase the size of. I just think you'd like to tease me there, Grim. You know what they say about guys on the tees? Oh dear. Right, we have the double-enders here. They do have that firepower I do like. Right, let's see. Oh, if only I could scroll up. Can I use the arrows? No, okay. Right, so into the pool you go. We do have a number of fourth rates in there that I can actually make use of, which is nice. I'm going to essentially take the entire squadron here. Maybe just leave, like... I don't know, I don't even think it's worthwhile leaving any of them here, because we are taking the power away from it. There's no point having, like, one ship. What the hell's one ship going to do? Okay. Yeah, we need to reinforce that. And I do have these fourth-rate steamers out here. They might... I'm going to have to double-check. I don't think they have armor. Armor's none, okay. This is it. I do not know what we'll be facing in the Mississippi River, but I'm hoping that we might be able to just overwhelm it with firepower then. We do absolutely need these proper ironclads. We do have some of them actually under construction. Just need them now rather than later, frankly. Well. Even 25 cents, I'm going to have to get in here. We essentially just have to strip everything we can and get it in there. If it's viable, and this is it, it's not a good idea because these guys at 25%, they could be destroyed, and once they're gone, they're gone. But we are going to pursue the actual path of the arming of a civilian ship, so that's what I'm going to be looking towards there. Hey, do that, Lord Dog. Good to have you, my man. Right. Yeah, they will be finished for months, indeed. Indeed. Right, okay, so we do have these elements over here. We'll get them pushed into here. I want the Mississippi River Squadron to be our crack brown water Navy squadron. Don't take it from there. I laugh because I care, not because I doubt them. Now, I would like to get some cotton-clad rams in there too, because I think they would be worthwhile. Just need the guns. I mean, this is it. The Union blockade on the actual river does have a large amount of guns. So I do have this gunboat here. It actually does have some armor. It does have guns, so we're going to get it in there. No, I do not doubt them. Not even for a second. So let's take a look then. So we have the Mississippi River Squadron here. Now it's showing 26 guns, but I imagine that's not showing the... or is that just showing me the one ship there? It's not showing me the amount of guns actually in the command here, which is fine. Right, so what I'm going to go ahead and do then is we'll take some of these guys. Maybe I do take some of these cotton-clad rams that are damaged, perhaps. But no, probably not a wise idea, really. Right, put you in here. It'll probably take a few days for them to be made available, so we'll have to take note of when they will be made available. And then we'll have to go immediately then. If I can take the gunboats out in the actual Mississippi, then we actually do have a pretty formidable advantage to work with then. So we're going to have to work quick, and we're going to have to be quite aggressive regarding that advantage, if it can indeed be pushed at all. Okay, so we do have these guys. Right, we'll get them into our Mississippi squadron, which is actually quite sizable now. I think we will possibly be able to win. I think we need to try and look at the actual... Try and get the best commander, the best... would you call it an admiral? I suppose you would call it an admiral. It would have to be an admiral, yes. Whatever you would like to call it, whatever the rank would be known as, but I imagine it would be like a ramral. Well, it's considered commander here, or commodore, I'm not too sure. But the appropriate rank, insert here. We need to make sure we do have the best in here. Yeah, 25 ships. That's a lot of ships if I've got the right commander open here. It looks like I don't have anybody I can replace him with. So entered US Navy at the age of 14. Served in the War of 1812, the Second Barbary War, and the Mexican War. Okay. Is that... wow, okay, never mind. Yeah. Initiative is outrageously good. Leadership is outrageously good. Administration couldn't. Yeah, okay. He's pretty good. Yeah, commander. There we go. Excellent. So, yeah, okay. Never mind. We'll leave him as he is. He's actually pretty good. Well, this is where I'm going to end the episode, so I'm going to go ahead and do it now. Thank you for watching.